Controlled oversight bodies, zero tolerance for undeclared intelligence activities. Foreign operations that cannot clearly demonstrate their civilian purpose will be immediately terminated. Continental cooperation in monitoring and responding to foreign interference. What affects one African country affects all of us. And here's the principle that has Western governments most concerned. African data stays in Africa unless African governments explicitly agree otherwise. The framework isn't just about protecting ourselves from surveillance. It's about recognizing that information is power, and African information should serve African interests first. Netanyahu's government tried to dismiss our framework as unrealistic and economically damaging. They warned that African countries couldn't survive without Israeli technology and expertise. They were wrong about that too. Within 3 weeks of implementing our new digital sovereignty protocols, we had received partnership offers from China, Russia, India, and even some European companies willing to operate under transparent conditions. Turns out the world has plenty of technology partners who don't need to spy on their customers to do business, but the real validation came from an unexpected source. American intelligence officials, in private conversations with African diplomats, admitted they were reassessing some of their own data collection practices in Africa, not because they wanted to, but because our framework was inspiring similar initiatives across the global South. When one continent starts demanding digital sovereignty, it becomes much harder to deny it to others. The ripple effects have exceeded even my expectations. Morocco announced new restrictions on foreign data collection. Kenya launched an audit of all international telecommunications partnerships. Nigeria began requiring foreign tech companies to store citizen data within national borders. Even South Africa, usually cautious about challenging Western partners, declared that African digital infrastructure should primarily serve African interests. For the first time in decades, African countries are setting the terms of technological engagement instead of simply accepting whatever terms are offered. But I want to be clear about something. This isn't anti-Western sentiment or anti-Israeli prejudice. This is pro-African pragmatism. We welcome partnership with any country that respects our sovereignty and operates transparently. We reject any relationship based on deception, surveillance, or the assumption that African consent is optional. Netanyahu's government could have chosen transparency from the beginning. They could have asked permission instead of assuming forgiveness. They could have treated African nations as equals instead of intelligence targets. They chose otherwise, and they're experiencing the consequences of that choice. The most interesting development has been watching how other world powers are adapting to our new approach. Chinese companies, despite their own reputation for digital authoritarianism, have been surprisingly willing to submit to our transparency requirements. Russian partners have agreed to full audit processes without complaint. Even some European companies have started marketing themselves as African digital sovereignty compliant to distinguish themselves from competitors who refuse to operate transparently. The market is rewarding transparency and punishing surveillance capitalism, exactly as we hoped it would. Meanwhile, Israeli companies that once operated freely across Africa are finding themselves locked out of an increasing number of markets, not because of political hostility, but because they refuse to meet the transparency standards that are becoming continental norms. Netanyahu's African strategy assumed that African leaders would always prioritize short-term economic benefits over long-term sovereignty concerns. That assumption is proving costly, but perhaps the most significant change isn't in government policies or corporate practices. It's in how young Africans think about their relationship with the world. University students across the continent are...
Lovely viewers, welcome to AMF4 TV. My name is Richard Che. I hope you are fine. Okay, we are talking about how African leaders has to be united by this an influential leader, Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore. There is a video on social media, especially on our handles, that we have to share it to you for you people to comment on it, on how statements he has been making all these days. We'll keep on updating you on this issue, but don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of this video as well as similar videos like this. Let's listen to whatever he said and on social media to see. And then also don't forget to comment when you watch this video. Kindly also not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share this video for people to also watch and like as well.
Are studying our digital sovereignty framework. They're organizing conferences about technological independence. They're demanding that their governments adopt similar protections. A generation of Africans is growing up with the expectation that their data, their communications, and their digital infrastructure should serve their interests first. That expectation will shape the continent's relationship with the world for decades to come. 6 months after Operation Clearsight, I can report that Burkina Faso's digital infrastructure is more secure, more transparent, and more beneficial to our people than it has ever been. Our internet speeds have actually improved since we terminated compromised partnerships and replaced them with transparent alternatives. Our telecommunications costs have decreased. Our data sovereignty has been restored. Most importantly, our citizens know that their government is protecting their digital rights instead of trading them away for foreign investment. The lesson for other African leaders is simple. Technological independence isn't just possible, it's profitable. But the lesson for foreign powers is equally clear. The era of assuming African consent is over. We are no longer the continent that says yes to everything out of desperation. We are no longer the market that accepts any terms because we believe we have no alternatives. We are the continent that evaluates partnerships based on mutual benefit and mutual respect. And if you can't meet those standards, there are plenty of other partners who can. The choice, as always, is yours. But understand that our choice has already been made. We choose sovereignty. We choose transparency. We choose an Africa that controls its own digital destiny. Everything else is negotiable. Benjamin Netanyahu learned this lesson the hard way. He won't be the last world leader who has to learn it. The question isn't whether other countries will respect African digital sovereignty. The question is how much it will cost them to learn the same lesson Netanyahu learned. Because one way or another, they will learn it. The age of African digital colonialism is ending. What comes next depends entirely on how quickly the rest of the world adapts to that reality. This is Ibrahim Traore, and this is how we reclaimed our digital independence. The revolution will not be surveilled.
Lovely viewers, welcome to AMF4 TV. My name is Richard Che. I hope you are fine. Okay, we are talking about how African leaders has to be united by this an influential leader, Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore. There is a video on social media, especially on our handles, that we have to share it to you for you people to comment on it, on how statements he has been making all these days. We'll keep on updating you on this issue, but don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of this video as well as similar videos like this. Let's listen to whatever he said and on social media to see. And then also don't forget to comment when you watch this video. Kindly also not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share this video for people to also watch and like.